Okay, so I don't know who came up with the idea.
I think it was you.
Okay. We had an idea that it would be really cool to start reviewing old queer films because I know there's always new youth growing up, and if we don't pull history from the past and bring it forward, how will young lesbians ever know about some of the greatest queer film? So I have a opinion about there's a difference between queer cinema and movies with a queer character, and so I think we're kind of taking the focus on more queer movies. That's usually movies that were designed for gay people, produced by gay people, and definitely acted by real gay people.
Or yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like that's what we're kind of focusing on, but there's also a lot of really special movies that have a queer theme to it that we're going to include. So first movie we're doing is
Heavenly Creatures.
Heavenly Creatures. I've never seen it.
If you have, you know what's in store.
Watching?
Heavenly Creatures. Peter Jackson.
Apparently. Lord of the Rings man.
Yeah, and Kate Winslet. So, as they say, it is compelling.
So, we're just gonna...
I'm really curious to get, like, because another thing with queer cinema is you grasp at it because it's representation. Representation's representation though, so you take it, and so there is a factor of some of them where you just have to be like, this is an interesting movie or compelling, but it's representation.
That's why I think it's going to be fun to review these movies because they're not new. I just think it's really exciting to do these old films that, I mean, I haven't even seen a lot of them, and one thing I learned through my relationship with Candace is if she likes a movie and suggests it, even if it takes me years to watch it, every time I'm always very impressed by whatever movies it is. So I've loosened my reins, and
this is the uncut version as well. And one side note is this film is produced through Miramax. This is not at all supporting of Weinstein or anything. I, in fact, want to acknowledge that unfortunately it is released under there, but you know, it is still a classic cult queer cinema film, and so we will watch it with the acknowledgement that this is not without knowing the studio that put it out, and
there just weren't a lot of studios that would take on queer cinema, and so
Miramax was one of them that would, and so just in honor of the cast, the crew, the people who made the film, we will still review them, but we want to acknowledge the, you know, just the way in which, you know, who might have been a part of the company that it came from.
Right. So this is about telling queer stories and sharing those. And so we're going to get on with it. And
can't wait to see what you think about it.
So we'll have our little review. And this is our first one. So, you know, they'll get sharper as we go on. So, but yeah, and then we'll get to talk about Heavenly Creatures and, you know, maybe inspire some of you to go check it out. Or if you've already seen it and hadn't had a discussion with anybody about it, here we are. So, all right. So, oh God, just looking at the back, you know, the little pictures from the movie. Okay, so we'll get on with it, and
we'll see you after.
We'll come back with our review.
First, a couple things to clear up. Introducing both Melanie and Kate.
Yeah.
What did you think?
That was a very intense movie.
Yes.
I have to say it's like if the movie 13 mixed with the story of those two girls in Slender Man. Like, that's what it was making me think of. Like, whew. So, yeah. So, if that sounds like your kind of movie, because I'm watching it going, okay, there's definitely an audience of people who, like, would love this. I will probably never watch this movie again, but I'm always happy to see something I've never seen before, so.
Just to go over basic plot of it, it's just about two young girls in New Zealand who meet at school, and
Typical young teen
very
lesbian story.
You know, very imaginative. They created a whole world of their own, and
As ladies do.
and at that time, they're they do, like, it's acknowledged, like, homosexuality is not right. It's considered a mental thing in the movie.
Because I wasn't sure if they were going to acknowledge that it was actually a gay movie. For a long time, I was like, oh, okay, is it one of those, like, friendship movies where they're just insinuating that they're gay?
They create this whole world in which they kind of fall into,
and made it hard for me to follow sometimes.
It is very much like, I'm like, oh, all right, yes, this is where I really kind of fell in and out of this when I was younger, because I'm like, 96 or 94 is when it was made. I probably got my hands on it probably like 96, 98, and
like, I could see being a young teen lesbian and watch this all the time, oddly. Like, I'm so glad I didn't see this as a teenager. I'm just gonna say that right now. Like,
I even as that, I did not watch it all the time. It's a pretty intense thing. But so they kind of create this friendship that is completely in their own world. It's concerning to their parents, the dedication they have to entertaining their own world. It starts with how it ends, one of those kind of movies where it shows you how it ends, and then you're like, pretty much then the whole time, like, oh my god, how do we get there? So it's a little stressful.
Yeah, I really appreciated that, oddly. And it's not actually a repeated scene. The scene you get at the beginning is actually the very end of the movie, and so the movie just kind of ends.
I did see Emily go through, like, literal stress as she watched the movie, so I mean, I couldn't see.
Oh my god!
Really
yeah, no, I definitely had my hands over my jaw dropping. Yeah, it was. If you like suspenseful,
I
for
will give
sure.
Peter Jackson good job on
directing was actually really great. It's a great, like, piece of art.
We do want to say, trigger warning, there is a scene of sex, and Pauline is pretty young, she disassociates, so that could be uncomfortable to watch. Do want to give that. They're very cavalier with the subject of murder, and I
like going into movies not knowing what they're about, because then I truly am seeing it from how the people who wrote it and how the directors want it to be seen in this order, telling me and showing me the information as it's coming. And so I do have to say that this is what I would say falls into a movie with a gay theme. This is not queer cinema.
No, but, and then also, in 1994, there's...
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is obviously groundbreaking. But it's also that thing of, like, why the lesbians always gotta be crazy? Why the lesbians always gotta be killing people? I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking about, like, Monster and stuff. Like,
well,
so, you know. So. Right, I was like, talk about mommy issues. Like, nail on the head. So,
I mean, give it a watch. There's nothing with putting more movies in your vault of movie knowledge, and you know, it's Kate Winslet's first film. I mean, the acting is amazing, the directing is amazing. Good. It's just when at that age when there's slim pickings for queer films, it's a hard film to attach to, because it's a very compelling. It is very
It's
compelling.
compelling.
I know. It is a very compelling movie.
Yeah.
And not quite...
Spellbounding, even.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
not
other word.
one of those ones you just like pop in. You're like, I
Yeah,
mean,
so-
nothing wrong with supporting queer cinema. I mean, again, you see great talents at their beginning, and that's always cool to see. So I recommend
Yeah, great
watching
acting.
it. You know, but I'm not saying watch it. It's a great film, and just go have fun. I mean, it's a definite film
Like
to
if
like
you're
watch
in
and
for the night and you need something to shake up your night, then this is a great movie to pop in. Don't know if you can find it on any streaming service. So, you know, check it out. It's, oh my God, the picture they even have up right now for the menu. It's just so, ooh. Yeah, it was hard for me to follow. I feel like if I was reading the book, because the way they're like jumping between names and scenes and things. So yeah, Heavenly Creatures. That's our first
film review.
first film review.
Queer cinema,
All right.
Heavenly Creatures.
Yeah, so 2 thumbs. Just 2.
Just 2.
Not 4. That's gonna
2
be
out of 4. That's what we got.
2 out of 4 thumbs. And yeah, so we're gonna be doing more reviews like this.
And if you have any suggestions or movies you'd like us to review, go ahead and pop that into the comments.
Yeah, thanks. All right, you ready?